Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Parramatta Eels 2021 season review. I hope you guys are doing well on this Sunday night. It is currently 7:10 p.m. So tonight we're going to be reviewing the 2021 season of the Parramatta Eels. Before I do that, make sure you guys go ahead and like this video, comment your thoughts on the Parramatta Eels season in the comment section below, and most importantly, guys, hit the subscribe button. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Hit the subscribe button, share the video around to your mates. If they're Parramatta fans, they may want to tune in and check out the Eels 2021 season review. Without further ado, let's get into it. Like all the other season reviews, we'll go through all the games they played this year, and we'll go through their results, and then we'll go through their players. We'll rank them on how they went this year. We'll talk about their season with a rating out of 10, and we'll see what they can do to improve going into 2022. So in round one, Parramatta had a nice win over the Broncos, 24 points to 16, after being down 16-0, I believe. That was a very good result. And round one wasn't pretty, but they were able to get the job done. Round two, the Eels beat the Melbourne Storm, the first home game of the season for Parramatta at Bankwest Stadium. They beat the Storm 16-12. I believe there was about 2 or 3 minutes to go. I believe Sevo scored the try that pretty much won the game in the wet, and Parramatta winning 16-12 over the Melbourne Storm, which was a great result for Parramatta. Round three, they were too good for the Sharks there, winning 28 points to 12. The Easter Monday game, which has become a bit of a tradition now between the Tigers and the Eels. Eels winning that one, 36 points to 22. Round five, the Eels suffered their first defeat of the season, losing to the Dragons, 26 points to 12 on a Sunday night game at Bankwest Stadium. Round six, the Eels, they gave it to the Raiders, 35 points to 10, down there at GIO Stadium in Canberra, which was the Eels' first win down there in about 15 years or so. We get to Anzac round, which was round number, round number 6, is it? Round 7? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever round it is. Anzac round, the Eels too good for the Broncos there, 46 to 6. A dominating result there for the Eels. Then they took on their big rivals, the Bulldogs. Obviously, it's one of the biggest rivalries in rugby league and in the NRL today. Canterbury Bankstown versus Parramatta. And Parramatta were far too good for the Dogs in this game here, winning 32 points to 10 at ANZ Stadium, or Stadium Australia, what it's called now. The Eels too good for the Dogs. Then the Eels had a nice win over the Roosters there, winning 31 points to 18. A very good result there. I believe that was the game where Dylan Brown with the knees on Drew Hutchison. Unfortunately, the famous knee incident, but the Eels, they were too good for the Roosters in that encounter there. Magic round, I was at this game. The Eels beat the Warriors 34 points to 18. A very good result there for Parramatta at Magic round. I enjoyed Magic round, like I said 1,000 times. I was there, and the Eels were too good for the Warriors there. And then they took on the Seagulls on the 23rd of May, a day before my birthday, actually. And, my God, Parramatta were dominated at Bankwest Stadium. Manly too good there. 28 points to 6. Then the Eels, they were trying to recover from that result against Manly, and they couldn't do it. They were beaten by the Bunnies, 38 points to 20. A really disappointing performance there. Then in the halfway mark, I believe it was around number 13 or something, they beat the Knights 40 to 4. Newcastle were trying to celebrate their, their grand final celebration after 15 years or so. And they beat the Knights there, 40 to 4. Good result. And then the Eels had a good win over the Tigers, 40 to 12. And then the Eels, they took on their big rivals again, the Dogs there in round 15. Another encounter between Parramatta and Canterbury. And Parramatta, they were far too good for the Dogs in this affair here, winning 36 points to 10. A very dominant performance there. Round 16, the Eels lost to the Panthers, 13 points to 12. I believe this was the game where Mitchell Moses had a kick to win the game, and he missed it, and the Panthers ended up winning by 1. So, not the best result there for the Eels, losing by 1. But unfortunately, they only got done by a point, so that sucks for them. Round 17, they had the bye. Round 18, the Eels were too good for the Titans there, 26 points to 8. Then they were beaten by Canberra, 12-10. Thumped by the Roosters, 28-0 up there at Mackay. They were smashed by the Bunnies at Seabus Super Stadium, 40 to 12. Flogged by Manly, 56-10. Beat the Cowboys, 32-16. Beat the Storm, 22-10, and they lost to Penrith in the last round because Parramatta rested all their players, losing that game 40-6. And then in the elimination final, Parramatta beat Newcastle 28-20, and in the semi-final, they were beaten by Penrith 8-6. So, a good season for Parramatta. They did well. They finished the year in 6th place on the ladder. They were very good against some of the big sides. They beat Melbourne. They beat the Roosters. They had some good results there. Unfortunately, didn't beat the Bunnies. Didn't beat Manly. Didn't even beat Penrith. But they did prove that they can compete with the top sides. Like I said, they did beat Melbourne twice, which is probably the first time Parramatta have done that in a very long time. And the Roosters obviously had a lot of injuries this year, but the Roosters had a better year than Parramatta on the ladder. So, not a bad year for Parramatta. Again, it just goes to the same thing we say every year about Parramatta. It's good for them to have good seasons in the regular season, but when it gets the second week of the finals, they crumble. If Parramatta make top 4, they'll lose the first final, and then they'll play a sudden death semi-final, and they'll go out in straight sets. Or they'll win an elimination final after missing out on top 4, finishing 5th or 6th. They'll win that elimination final, but then they'll play second week and they'll get beat again. This is what happens with Parramatta. It feels like the same thing has happened to them for the last couple of years now. Let's go back in time and have a look about it. Let's talk about it. 2019. Actually, no. Let's go. Hang on. 2017. 2017. Parramatta finished in 4th. They went out in straight sets. They lost to the Storm and they lost to the Cowboys. 2018. The Eels won the wooden spoon. 2019. The Eels finished in 5th place. They went out the first week of the finals. They flogged Brisbane. They destroyed them. I think it was like 58-0 or something. Next week, they were beaten by Melbourne 32-0. 2020, Parramatta again. They do the same thing. But this time, they lost to... Who did they play week 1? They lost to Melbourne up at Suncorp. And then they played the Bunnies. And they were beaten by the Bunnies. I think it was like 38-26 or 32-20 or something like that. 38-20. They were beaten by in that game. And then last year, 2021, this year I should say, they were too good for Newcastle in the eliminations final. And then they were beaten by the Panthers 8-6. It felt like this year had to be the year if they were going to do anything. The last couple of years I've been going out second week of the finals. It's all I've been doing ever since I made the finals again. 17, 19, 20, 2021. It's just not good enough going out second round all the time. They've got to look at it. Mentally, I don't know if they're a mentally tough enough club. They seem to be able to have Melbourne's number now, but they can't beat Penrith for some reason. They struggle against the Bunnies. They can't beat any of these big sides. They can only beat Melbourne. So it's an issue. They just re-signed Brad Arthur, which is another interesting situation. But, again, it comes down to the culture on the club. It comes down to a lot of things with this side. But they seem to know how to get to the finals, Parramatta. They know how to get to the top 6, but they don't know how to get past the second week. So that's something that they need to work on. And I noticed with Parramatta, they always seem to start the year off really well, and then they just can't finish off when it really matters the most. So they've got to take a bit of a leaf out of some of the bigger sides and try and figure out how to maintain a good full season, not just, have a great first 8 weeks and then have a quiet period in the midway mark and then play all right again and be up and down after the origin period and then come good before finals and then just realise that they're not good enough and the confidence starts to kick in a lot and then confidence will go away after that. So they've got a lot to work on, Parramatta. But going into next year, it's going to be interesting to see how Parramatta go next year because I think their team at the start of 2021 looks better than what it does going into 2022. So we'll see what happens there. But if I had to give you their best win and worst win of the season, okay, best win and worst loss. Okay, so the Eels' best win of the season for mine, probably about 3 of them that stand out. The 2 wins over Melbourne were great. And the other result that was very good for Parramatta, in my honest opinion, was the one against the Broncos, winning 46-6. I guess you could say the one in Canberra, winning 35-10. But if I had to pick their overall best, I'm going to go with the game against Melbourne. in round 24, I believe it was. Hang on. Let me just make round. No. Round 24. Round 24, they beat the Storm 22-10. That was easily the Eels' best result of the season. The Eels' worst result of the season was in round 22, where they were beaten by Manly 56 points to 10 up there at Sunshine Coast Stadium. That was obviously their best and worst result of the season. Now let's get to some of the outside backs. Let's go to the Eels roster. Let's talk about some of their players. So, Gutherson had a good year, but obviously had a better year in 2020, in my opinion. Dylan Brown, a very mixed bag of a year. Pretty disappointing, in my opinion, for Dylan Brown. Hayes Perham wasn't too bad when he played. Hayes Dunster, the kid's very good. Plenty of potential there. Jacob Arthur, dog shit. I'm sorry. He may become a great player one day, but as of right now, he is a really, really shit player. Micah Sevo, can't really judge him, man. He got injured, so it doesn't really help when he got injured. Mitchell Moses, I thought he had a great season. Thought he was terrific, Mitchell Moses. Sean Russell, didn't play much. Tom Opacek, I thought he was one of their worst players. He doesn't offer anything in attack. Defense, he looks okay, but I don't believe he is that great of a player. I thought he was very ordinary, in my opinion. Wagga Blake, good player, but very up and down. Will Penasini, he had a decent back end of the year when he played. He looks like a kid of the future. Bryce Cartwright, not bad. Definitely not great, but played all right. Isaiah Papali'i, he had a great season. Probably one of the Eels' best all year. Junior Paulo, I thought he was good. Young Makatoa off the bench, the young Eels prop. Makatoa is a player to look out for, and it's one that Parramatta need to keep because I think he's a good kid coming through. Maradoni Kore was very handy. I thought he had a good season. Nathan Brown was good. Oregon Kafusi was okay. Ray Stone was very up and down. Kemmel Gillard was great. Reed Marnie was injured a lot, so it's hard to really judge Reed Marnie. Ryan Madison, not bad. I guess Felice Kafusi pretty much ruined this season with that elbow to the head, but he was alright. Sean Lane, very up and down as well. And William Gregg, I thought he was okay as well. And Brad Arthur, the coach, not too bad as well. If I had to pick out the Eels' best and worst player of the year, I'm going to say their worst player, Tom Opacek. I thought he was dog shit, and everyone knows that. Opacek was their worst player. Their best player, they had a few good players, Parramatta. It's hard to really pick out just one because they obviously had a lot of really good players. But if I had to pick out the Eels' best player this season, I'm going to go with Mitchell Moses and probably Papali'i and maybe Regan Campbell-Gillard. I thought they were very good for Parramatta, but overall, I thought their season was good. They made the finals again. They went out second week, which is disappointing, but their season's a pass mark, but they need to learn to get past second week of the finals. Their rating out of 10 for the Eels season, I'm going to give the Parramatta Eels 2021 season a 7 out of 10. It's a good season from them, but they need to learn to get to that next level because their premiership window is closing. So they got to win it in 2022. Otherwise, they might not win it for a long time because they've lost Papali'i. They're losing him to the Tigers. Nia Kure is going to the Warriors, so they've got some things to work out. But guys, that's it for the Eels season review. Make sure you guys go ahead, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Share the video to your friends. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.